Welcome to Cents and Sensibility, where we like to talk about money out the stress. My name is Chris. I'm here with my good friend.
I'm Phil.
So in today's episode, we're going to be busting myths that wealth building is only for the rich, right? That's wrong. So no matter your income, you can grow your money with the right strategies, right? So it's all about 1, consistency, 2, smart decisions, and 3, just letting time work in your favor. So being patient. So let's dive into these 3 actionable steps to help you start building wealth today. All right, so step 1, right? Start small, stay consistent. Don't ever underestimate the power of small steps. I think that's a big thing or problem that people have. Saving or investing even a little bit regularly can have a massive impact over time, right? And as an example, a friend of mine I know started with just $10 a week, cutting back on like coffee, going out, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all those things. And over the last 5 years, he saved over, I think, about like $2,700 or so, if not maybe more, enough to cover a lot of like unexpected expenses, as well as medical bills, and still had money left over, which is great. And the key to his success, honestly, was consistency. And a good tip I like to tell people, when they get started in this process, is that if you're ever nervous about getting started, just automate. Automation is such an amazing thing. So set up recurring transfers from your checkings account to your savings account, ideally on payday, or if you have an investment account, do that as well. You'll be building wealth without even having to think about it because it's all just automated, right? It's working in the background. But think about saving like planting a tree, right? It might not seem like much at first, but over time, small contributions that you make and do and steps that you take will help it grow into something substantial.
Yeah, Chris, I think that's a great point. You want to be consistent as much as you can, and you want to let that tree grow, which brings us to number 2, guys, which is invest early and wisely. So investing is where the magic of building wealth actually begins. So it's not about the timing of the market, which a lot of people claim, you got to get in at the right time, which is true. But as long as you get in early and you're smart about your decisions, it's all about having time in the market. So I would start as early as you can if you can afford it. And for example, Chris, consider this: someone who invests $100 a month starting at, let's say, age 25 will have more money at retirement than someone who starts investing $200 a month at age 35. Obviously, that makes sense, but you want to take advantage of the compound interest on these investments as much as you can, and that way you're able to retire early or use that money where you want to. A little tip I like to give people when they're getting started is to start with low-cost index funds, which spread your money across the wide range of stocks and not just in one particular area, and this helps minimize your risk. So using apps like Acorn or Betterment make it easy to get started with, as little as $5, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like we said in the beginning, you want to be consistent. As long as you're consistent, that $5 is going to grow into something substantial. And another point I want to make, Chris, is investing might sound intimidating, but you don't need to be an expert. The earlier you start, like I said, the more your money's going to work for you. And that's the real secret to building wealth.
No, I think that's a really great point, Phil. Obviously investing and getting started with anything in general is very intimidating, but people overthink it. And I think that, once you kind of get past that internal intimidation, you're on the path to success, really. Which brings us to strategy, or step number 3, right? Is creating multiple streams of income. So relying on just one source of income can really limit the potential to build wealth. And no one builds wealth with just one stream of income, realistically, unless you just win the lottery, which is cool. Different strokes for different folks, right? At the end of the day, adding even just one extra source of income can honestly make the biggest difference. And a good example of this is a friend of mine. She's a teacher. She started tutoring online on the weekends and one day during the week, and basically just ended up making an extra I think $600 a month, which is kind of insane. But she ended up using that money to invest into her Roth IRA, which is now growing tax-free towards her retirement. So something very small, and using extra skills or your current skill set to your advantage is, I think, something that a lot of people overlook or just don't do?
I think the biggest thing when it comes to creating multiple streams of income is to think about what you're good at. Maybe it's writing, crafting, or offering some type of service, like let's say dog walking or just like graphic design or something like that. Even a few hours a week can bring in extra income, which will really help. So I like having multiple income streams that work for me. It doesn't just help you build wealth faster, it also provides a safety net if one source dries up, or God forbid you get fired from your main job, you'll have some other streams of income to fall back on.
With everything being considered, what's one step you've taken to start building wealth? Share your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear what's working for you or what you've tried and has worked. But just remember, building wealth isn't about having like a big paycheck. It's about making smart choices with the money that you do have. Start small, invest early, and look for new ways to earn. Over time, these small steps can add up to some really big results. As always, if you found this episode helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button, share it with someone who's ready to grow their wealth, and don't miss our next video where we'll share strategies to crush your saving goals even faster. As always, keep your cents and sensibilities in check.